While we get those guys all mic'd up and ready to go, as a lot of you may know, and for those of you that don't know, this year we actually opened up 5 headcounts at the studio to hire members of our community directly in to work on Disney Infinity. So when we had done this initially, the thought was that we had wanted to take some of our best artists that are out there and have them come and kind of give them their dream job. We have filled all 5 of the positions to date, and the guys will come up here and give everyone in the audience a quick tutorial on everything that has to do with 2.0, introduce themselves. Although a lot of you may know them now, you'll get to know them even better over the course of the next few days. Do you have anything else you want to add about how important that is to us and what it means?
So I think what's truly important is for people who want to be creative in here, we really want to make sure that we're supporting them doing that. For people who don't necessarily want to do that, we want to make sure that we're offering some of the best content out there, and so that it becomes almost like a value for the game, and there's this ongoing stream of stuff that we will be giving out to the community for free. And so we're really hoping that this is kind of like a weekly cadence at this point in time that we'll be putting out. We've got a bunch of stuff kind of ready for launch, and then there'll be some just kind of weekly new stuff that will be coming out.
It's really fun. I mean, a lot of you guys are talking about, like we just announced Donald and Aladdin and Jasmine. There's a lot of questions about, are these characters going to have play sets? Are there going to be Disney play sets inside of 2.0? What does that look like? One of the things that we're really excited about our community team doing is, as John had mentioned, they are actually prepping toy boxes that are built with all the new 2.0 logic tools that allow them to do things like you saw in the video a little bit earlier, like do leaderboards and do end of game scenarios and even some small cutscenes and text boxes, and now you can make RPGs and things like that. And that entire community team will be delivering content. Some of it will be dedicated just to specific characters. Some of it will actually be episodic, where they're going to be telling a story over time. And all of that content, as John had mentioned, will be available at launch and then ongoing, developed by these 5 amazing Toy Box artists that we have over time for you guys to be able to download for free. So we're really excited about that. But enough of us talking about it.
Yeah, do we have video? Is that?
Do we have a video now?
Yeah.
Yes, intro video will play. So thanks everyone for listening to us, and let's take a look at this quick video.
All right.
Sweet. Well, it is an honor to be here with you guys today. We are your friendly neighborhood community toy box team.
Hell yeah.
Do you guys want to go down the row here and introduce yourselves and tell a little bit about who you are, where you came from?
Okay, my name is Jose Avalos, aka Dr. Logic Gate. For reasons you will see soon, I'm from Chile, and I'm really excited to be here.
I'm Tyler Cole, aka Ty Force. I rickrolled most of you in this audience. I'm originally from Ohio, but I've been living here in Utah and glad to be part of the team.
I'm Stuart Malcolm. Some of you know me by Crazy by Nick. Originally from Big Bear Lake, California.
All right. My name is Patrick, aka Papa Echo. I came here as a middle school teacher. Big shout out to my students at home who are starting school next week.
And I'm Quinn Johnson, also known as Quinn Jitsu. So I actually was a comic book writer before I came here. I worked on like Ninja Turtles and Kung Fu Panda and stuff like that. So this is like a dream come true to be able to do this. And actually another thing that's a dream come true is to have these little mics, because for the first time I feel like I'm in a boy band.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who's the cute one? All right. Well, we are here today to train our featured toy box artists in the toy box. We have some objectives for you today, and that is to, first off, explore those new features, to show you the upgrades to the 1.0 tools that you guys are familiar with, and also to introduce you to all new Creativa toys. And as was discussed earlier, we may not have a music editor, but word on the street is that there's now a person in the community who sings some amazing soundtracks. So shout out to Goofy Space Ranger, wherever you are. Right there. But let's get into it. Also, as we go through, we also kind of want to show you guys some of the toy boxes we've been working on. Just because, when you create a toy box, you kind of want to share it with everyone. So we couldn't resist. But as we talk today, we realize that this is the ultimate toy box challenge. Our competitors here are going to have the largest selection of tools and toys they've ever had, with the fiercest, friendliest competition, and one of the tightest deadlines ever. So if everything we throw at you might feel like your head might explode, we're going to be available all day today and tomorrow to help you guys work these out. So let's get to the first talking point, which is going to be new controls. And we're going to choose Groot here to tell us a little about these new controls, because anyone who's seen Guardians knows Groot kind of has a funny way of speaking. And I kind of thought of him when we were going through these new controls because, well, Groot's kind of way of speaking is kind of weird at first. It feels weird or unnatural. But then when you get into it, it just makes sense. It's easy to understand. So are our new controls. You're going to pick them up. It's going to feel a little different from the first game. But as soon as you get into it, it's going to make sense.
You'll be thinking, I am Groot as well.
We are Groot.
We are all Groot.
All right. First off, let's kind of look at what Groot is building here. You're going to see, first off, when you enter the editor, that display from the first game that shows all the toys, it takes up the all screen, that's not there anymore. We realize that our power builders in the audience, this is the default way, the view that they prefer. These are how they like to access their tools and toys. So this is the first thing you're going to see as soon as you access it. Couple button switch ups here. The D-pad is going to select the items and change the category, so your shoulder buttons will breathe a sigh of relief, I'm sure. The right shoulder now enters you into spark mode. The right trigger raises, lowers, and rotates items. You hold that, and it helps you place things a little more accurately. I've liked that a lot. Two new things you're going to see on that screen for the eagle-eyed viewers out there. There is a favorite button. You see the little Mickey thumbs up there. You can select the items that you like, the ones that you use most frequently, and that's going to come into some customization a little bit later on. And there's also an undo placement feature. So if you place something and it's kind of half a spot over from where you want, hit the undo instead of having to go into spark mode and undo it. A lot more streamlined now. We're going to have a ton of Creativa toys we're going to be throwing at you today, and we were actually tasked a few days ago to figure out exactly how many there were. And what did we say, Quinn?
I think it was like 80 or 79.
I think 79 was our count, give or take. That's a lot to keep track of. If at any point in time you're wondering, okay, where did this toy come from? Which place did I unlock this in? Or what exactly does it do? You can hit that left trigger, and it will give you a kind of brief, succinct, to the point description of what it does. Very nice. The left shoulder is filters. You guys are going to be looking at a lot of toys today, and you're going to want to get to them quick. If you hit that, you can create filters to kind of really narrow down what are the toys you want to find and where to find them quickly. The personal, I think probably arguably the most powerful filter here is where it says custom. Custom filters are going to include things like your favorites, anything you gave the Mickey thumbs up to, it's going to be in there. Most used and recently used are categories as well, which are absolutely clutch. For you guys building today, you're learning a lot of stuff new. You're used to probably building in about a week or so. Tight deadlines today. It's going to be part of the fun. You might want to try out some of the templates and builders we got. If you have a corner of your toy box that's looking a little bare and you might want a forest, you might want to drop the forest builder in there. Fill it out a little bit. If you want to add some extra gameplay but you're not quite sure what the connections are, those templates are going to be really useful. They're going to be your BFFs in this challenge. Nice thing about the templates too is if you look at the next slide, you're going to see that the templates have these holographic question marks next to them when you place them down. And those can be moved, hidden, deleted, whatever. But if you stand on top of them like Groot is there, you're going to see it explains the connections. So it'll tell you exactly how that thing's hooked up so that down the road you can make that connection on your own if you didn't want to put the template down. Very nice there. This one I'm excited about. So Groot was building a giant Groot, and for our eagle-eyed viewers out there, you're going to see there's some new block pieces in that one. But as you're, builders in the first game always knew when you were building a giant block structure, you're going to hit that theme all button maybe accidentally, and your giant Groot turns into a giant space flamingo. So one thing that is awesome is that if you hit theme all now, it is going to prompt an "Are you sure?" confirmation. So you can build without feeling like you're building a ticking time bomb. So very nice there. We love that. Yes, there was much rejoicing. I believe, let's see, before we get to our next PowerPoint, we're actually going to show our first toy box preview. This is one that I built. Little bit about it. As soon as I knew that the Marvel suit, actually before I knew Marvel was coming to Disney Infinity, in the first game, I just wanted to build the Avengers helicarrier. And I tried it in 1.0, and I was pretty happy with it. And then when I found out Marvel was coming and I got the amazing opportunity to work here, I was like, I need to do helicarrier 2.0. And that is one of the big projects I've been working on, and I wanted to just share a little bit with you guys today. Roll tape. Sound like
Roll tape.
I've always wanted to say that.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, shucks. All right. Our next talking point, we want to talk about kind of a big category we're just calling the game changers. And I know a lot of you guys put a lot of planning in before you even set foot into a toy box. And so these are going to be some new things that you guys are going to have to consider before making a awesome 2.0 level. So first things first, we have flyers and wall crawlers and web slingers and
super
boogie
jumpers.
dancers and about 18 different things. But I know as a community team, for the most part, we like to use those guys who have that mode of transportation. When you're building, you get to one end of the toy box to the other really quickly. You can kind of get to high points, and you still have, unlike Sparkling, you can see your character and still get a frame of reference for them as you're building, so nothing looks too small or too tiny or big or out of place. But the other side of that coin is that when you make your levels, the player is going to have that ability to wall crawl or fly or web sling. So you're going to have to keep in mind with all these different kind of things, if you're building a platformer, what are you going to do to safeguard against someone just flying to the end? Things to consider. Next thing, my clicker. To interior or not to interior, that is the question. Two amazing modes to do some level creation in. Two very unique modes to do a level creation in. Interiors and exteriors, as we'll call them for right now, have their own unique sets of decorations. Very different feels. There's going to be some creativity toys that are in the toy box that may not be interiors, and we're going to help you guys kind of figure out which is what. So if you want to do an interior today, we're going to help you guys out in terms of kind of letting you know what are some toys that you could use in there. Next one. Jose, you want to take it from here?
Absolutely. So one of the problems you had when doing 2D platforming levels was that the player would fall off the edge and die because you didn't have a frame of reference. So now what we have is barrier blocks so that the player cannot go through the edge of the world and fall off. And even better, do you see those little diamonds on the squares? Those are scalable. So instead of like needing 1,500 different barrier blocks in order just to block off a section of the level, you can just make one big giant barrier. So everything to save you a lot more time. But if you're making a racetrack and, oh, I don't know how this can fit, do not worry, because we also have barrier blocks for each individual track piece. So you can still make them, not fall off the edge. Unless you're making a Rainbow Road or something like that.
Right.
And they're also collision free too, so you can like drag that thing through objects if needed. You're not restrained within.
Woo! Hell yeah!
They're one of the best ever.
So, you guys are used to the sky changer. Never able to never able to select the sky you wanted to do the change. Now you can. Say, Tyler's created this cool level, going up, regular sky, hit a certain point, change to space. Woo-hoo. Very cool.
Very cool.
Now, I know a lot of you had spent nights just laying in bed, unable to sleep, thinking, if only there was a way to put cow spots on my swinging hammer. Well, now there's a way. If you want to put flower print on a wall, you can do that. If you want to make your terrain block look like dragon scales, you can do that now. And the rails have also totally been given a bazillion different options. One of my favorites is the beanstalk skin for the rails. So there's like Tron ones, there's Avengers ones. I mean, there's just a bazillion different. That's bazillion I said twice, and now that's just 3 times I just said.
Do we have a money jar too, like the other team? No.
Okay. Oh, no. So, but yeah, you have tons and tons and tons of options now with the looks of all your parts, and so you can customize your level to look any way you want it to. It's super, super cool.
Townspeople. In 1.0, if you wanted your townspeople to aimlessly walk off cliffs or into walls, then you had your fun. Now, there's a few more options added onto those. They accept logic now, and so they can trigger other things. They can also be assigned behaviors. If you're wanting them to get jiggy with it, or
which you will.
Yeah, you're going to want that. Or if you're not so in tune to having them walk off cliffs or into walls, there is an option, as you can see in the image, to simply stand still. Woo!
Yep. Right.
That's like one of the best things ever.
So if you're also wanting to add them to like a team, say you're doing some battling or thing, add them to your team. They'll help you out.
Yep. And if you actually want them to be like a mission giver with some of the new text tools, you can actually attach them so they have dialogue pop up above their heads. And so there's tons of different options now with the townspeople.
I think I found it. They can follow you too now, right?
Yeah, they can follow you too.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
If they're assigned to a team, they will viciously headbutt.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so now we're going to show a level I worked on It's called Remote Bowling HD Hyper Ultra Remix 2014, or just Remote Bowling. The thing is, when I started working here, okay, you can see that the toy box is good for making platformers or or racing racing tracks or whatever, and I wanted to do something completely different. So inspired by many classic arcade games where you had to guide a ball through a maze, for example Marvel Madness, I decided to use some of the new creativity tools to be able to do just that. So using remote controls and weather vanes, which send force to different objects through the level, I created something that is totally new. Video.
That's why we call him Dr. Logic Game, folks. Wasn't that like your first day too?
Yeah, that level was done in the first day, the first week.
Unreal. Our next must-know for the Toy Box training comes with knowing your options. There are, like we said, ton of new creative toys that create some new unique things, but there's a lot of ones that provide new twists on things that we already know pretty well how to do in the Toy Box. The first thing involves activations. You're going to see on the screen up there Mickey, and as we learned, he is Mickey playing Sorcerer Apprentice there, but Mickey has all the 1.0 options there. You have your target, your trigger area, your trigger plate, your action button. We all know those and love them dearly. Well, in 2.0, you can do a lot of those activations through different things. Tinkerbell is showing some of the new Toy Box options. We have a sensor switch and a rail slide target, which you can put on the rails. That will allow you to change directions on the rails, activate whatever you'd like. I also like using them offside the rails too. They're just cool little hologram targets. Merida and Star-Lord there showing some of the ones that come from our Toy Box games. You have color changing plates that can do different symbols that activate when a particular symbol is made. You have pressure plates there, and with liftable blocks. The one next to Star-Lord there has a Nova Core block that when you drop it on that plate will activate something. So a lot of possibilities there.
So we're used to a couple of the cameras, the downward angle, side-to-side scroller. Now we have our angled camera, and we have our target camera. You can see on the second over with the little blue diamond there. You can attach that to your camera and pinpoint it to a certain location that you want, and it'll follow that. You can also connect it to a character and follow you. We'll go into a little bit more on the cameras a little bit later.
Yeah.
But you have 4 cameras to play with now.
Good stuff.
Items. In Disney Infinity 1.0, we had the item generator, which is shown on the right-hand side there. And that allowed the players to generate tools and packs that you would have access to in the Toy Box. And now we've got more options, just like everything else. A lot more options. You can see some treasure chests and other design chests that you can obtain items from as well. If maybe that little plate there doesn't tickle your fancy and fit into your level, and a treasure chest does, well, that happens. And there's a lot more options for generating items. You can generate enemies. So if you want like a fake treasure chest, and you open it and an enemy pops out to attack you, that's a thing now.
If you are evil, this is the option for you.
Yeah. And
health capsules, right?
And health capsules
Special move
if you're not wanting to
capsules.
fake out the player.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you're
very good
nice.
stuff. Yeah. It's up to you guys. Moving on.
Click,
Click.
click.
There we go.
We're professionals.
Collectible tracker. Oh, wait, sorry, collectibles. I can read. For all of you that were dying to have a pastry collecting mini game in your toy box, it is now happening. There's tons of options for collectibles. You know, the collecting challenges in the play sets were a big thing, and now those can happen within the toy box as well. We have orbs, we have armored orbs, which can be collected by being shot at, flying through rings. Like I mentioned, pastries. We have knapsacks. We have power cores, and just anything that, and keys, that whatever fits best into your themed toy box. And that little beauty on the left-hand side there, the hologram showing up, is the collectible tracker. And that is an creativity tool you're going to want to use that will allow you to keep track of when those collectibles are collected, and to trigger certain things when all of the collectibles have been collected.
So you don't have to attach each collectible to logic. You can just say, when the final collectible is collected, boom, this makes this happen, and the game is won or whatever. So very user-friendly.
You can make a collectible game really quickly. So all those challenges you guys experienced in the first game, you can now make a ton of those, which is awesome.
Another way in which we have improved the toy box is by generating friends. In the first game, you had the friend generator, so that's what we are using Mickey, you know, picking out Goofy. But now, in 2.0, in addition to that one, the hologram one on the right is a friendly wave generator. That means more than one. That's what a wave means. So if you want to, by say, stepping into an area and have 100 Merlins, you know, to be following you and headbutt everything, now you can do that, and in a pretty easy way. And also, we have changed the way enemies spawn. Before, in the first Disney Infinity, you had the enemy generator. That one is still there, but now it also has the ability to be connected to a locator, so when you step into a room, you don't see anymore, okay, that's where the enemies are come from. Now, if you want to, the player won't know where the enemies appear, so that's really cool. And also we have the enemy wave generator, so you can, hey, if I want to spawn, say, 10 Frost Giants and 15 Agrabah Guards, you can do that with only one toy instead of putting 25, which is really neat. But if you also want them to appear, you know, in a more thematic way, you will also have stage doors, cauldrons, or even Asgardian doors. So you can, okay, tell the player, okay, this is where the enemies are going to appear from, and you can also destroy those in case you don't want, you know, all the enemies to appear at the same time.
All right, so that takes us to collection pens. So in Disney Infinity 1.0, there was pretty much just the basic pen where you could drop a person in and make something happen with that. Well, we still have that, but there's been a bunch of new collection pens and doors added that you can throw townspeople in to activate certain logic. One of the nice things too is there's a feature where you can actually say when a townsperson is thrown through this door, they disappear. So you can kind of avoid that cheat that was often used in the first game where a person would just grab one guy and hop up and down your pen and beat the whole game. So it's really cool. So you may have seen on Patrick's Avengers helicarrier level, and I hope I'm not spoiling too much
Go
here,
for it.
but there's actually a really amazing minigame part where Nick Fury sends you to, you don't know which of the S.H.I.E.L.D. people are actually S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and which ones are Hydra. So you can actually, we have it set up so you can actually pick up a townsperson, throw them into the interrogation door, and then we have some other tools where it spits them out randomly as either Hydra agents or S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and you can attach text to that so they're like, "Hail Hydra," or they're like, "S.H.I.E.L.D. rocks," and then you can like throw them into other places. So there's really a ton of amazing new features that you can do with these collection pens.
Yeah. And I'm completely going off the script here, but when you mentioned that, one of the funnest parts about this team, and I don't think funnest